Welcome back to the channel. In today's Tackle Shop Tuesday video, we're going to be tying up a panfish fly, and this is what it's going to look like. We're going to be using a tiny bit of orange marabou and then a 5 to 7 inch long black hackle feather. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll jump right into this video. We're going to be using the Eagle Claw laser size 6 for this. I found this to be a pretty decent size for catching perch. The whole idea on this is we're going to be making this to go out and try to fly fish, catch some of these bigger perch that are in the shallows right now that are sitting on beds, that type of stuff. We're going to start out with that hook that I just told you, which is the Eagle Claw laser sharp size number 6. Start out with a little bit of the Sally Hansen's. And one thing that you might notice on this is one of those rotating hooks. If you see, it's got a bend in it, and I think that'll be pretty awesome because allegedly that will help you to keep from getting those short strikes. You're going to actually get some short hookups because this will kind of spin in their mouth and help with your hook set. Again, this is a new one, and with any luck at all, by the time this video airs, I can actually have some video attached that shows you us catching some fish with it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get us some of this orange marabou, and it doesn't take much on this, guys, because it's just a tiny little jig, tiny fly I should say. You'll be cutting off more than you're using. I'm going to start out with this orange marabou. I'll wrap it around there, get it about where we think it ought to be, and then we're going to clip that off. Again, guys, I'm going real short and small, try to eliminate some of the short strikes with some of the smaller. I'm actually looking forward to catching some of the smaller perch because I want to do some catfishing while I'm out there at the lake. I'm planning on leaving for the lake. I don't know if you can hear it raining in the background or not, but I'm going to try to get out this weekend. Try to do some camping, some fishing, some fly fishing, set up the jug lines, run some jugs for some catfish, and then do some regular fishing as well. What we did just then is I cut the very tip of this hackle feather out. You can see it, and I'm just mixing that in there. It kind of makes it look like it's got a little wing on there now. And then what I've been doing, since I'm cutting the tip out, you left with a V, go ahead and cut that off straight. Makes it easier when you're tying. Otherwise you got to come back to the eye of the hook and try to cut all those little pieces out, and it's not as easy. Once you get over 50, you'll notice when you was a kid, everybody used to say you are what you eat. Well, I've noticed as I've gotten closer to age 50 that my eyes are very similar to the fish's eyes, and the fact that I can no longer see fluorocarbon or these small tiny hairs coming off these hackle feathers. So we're down at the end of the eye. We're going to wrap this around, and guys, you'll notice on this there's actually a direction. See how the feathers are kind of going to the back? If you start winding that up and it looks like your feathers are going forward, you can either keep on going or stop, turn around. And as you can tell, this is one of the reasons why having a rotating vise is a little more beneficial than like that vise I started out with. That vise I started out with, I used to work with a guy who was tying up flies mostly for trout fishing up in Colorado, and I knew he'd been tying for about a year or so. When I contacted him, I was like, hey, I don't want to waste any money. what do I need for a decent vise, especially if I think I may end up trying to make some money with this. And he suggested that vise that we had, which yeah, it's not rotating, and I didn't please it. I wasn't pleased with it. Here we go. We're going to do a whip finish on this, and again, we'll do about 4 or 5 wraps. This thread that I'm using today is actually not that 210 that I've used in the past. I ran out of the 210, so this is kind of some, and I've got a mess going on here. I'm telling you guys, it's hard for me to see this. Smaller thread, and it's not as forgiving as that 210. It tends to break on me. Of course, you guys know I can break the 210. I like to get that stuff tight, but this thread here reminds me of something you'd sew with. It's just not real strong, but it works out okay on these smaller flies, and I'm just trying to get rid of the junk that I don't use, because this one's for me. I'm not selling this. Next up, we'll put a little bit of the whatever head cement you guys are using. I'm just using regular fingernail polish. Kind of clean that up. But that's the jig, guys. I think this will be really productive on the perch, especially your bedding perch. Kind of looks like a nice little fly. And you could mix these color combinations up and make a bunch of different colors. But I'll tell you, the reason I told you about the age 50 and the eyes, sometimes depending on the lighting, some of your colors to the fish become almost transparent, which is why everybody fishes with fluorocarbon. But if you'll have a two-toned, and I believe this with all my heart, two-tone jigs will catch you more fish than solid colors 9 times out of 10. I'm not going to say always, but 9 times out of 10, because the way the light reflects and refracts underneath the water is different than it is out here in the open air like we've got right now. And that's one of my fishing tips if you guys want it. Again, guys, we appreciate your likes, comments, and subscribes. I hope that you all have enjoyed this video. I can't wait to see you next Tuesday when we bring out another one. And again, may you all have a blessed week, and let's get outside and make something happen.